Rise and shine. You're watching WCTV Eyewitness News. The Good Morning Show starts now.
Happening now on GMS, any day now, the Supreme Court will release its much anticipated opinion on an abortion case that could overturn Roe v. Wade. Coming up, how advocacy groups for women on both sides of the issue are preparing.
Plus, Americans wanting a big bang this 4th of July. They get sticker shock. Coming up, prices for fireworks skyrocketing.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Good Morning Show. I'm Michelle Roberts. And you know this guy.
And I'm Rob. We got plenty to talk about in that forecast. 103 yesterday.
Triple digits. Yeah,
like
dangerously hot.
For several hours. We had 95 degrees plus for 8 hours yesterday. So
wow.
It was hot for a long period of time. I will talk forecast. It's going to be hot again, maybe hotter today compared to yesterday, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. First, we're going to start off with some news, and we have some continuing coverage of Tuesday's shocking stabbing at a Tallahassee bookstore at the cafe inside Books A Million.
We now know more about what happened and troubling information about the man's background. 41-year-old John McFarland was arrested shortly after Tuesday's incident. Yesterday, he made his first court appearance virtually. The judge ordered McFarland to remain in jail without bond on attempted murder charges. He also indicated McFarland was on conditional release for felony charges out of Duval County and will face consequences there as well.
Yeah, McFarland is accused of stabbing a man Tuesday afternoon at the Books A Million on Thomasville Road. Arrest records saying he walked up to a table of 4 elderly people inside the store's cafe, then stabbed a man 4 times in the head and neck before walking out of the store, dropping the knife near Publix. The victim didn't know McFarland. Now, according to arrest papers, McFarland matches the description of a missing person reported by the Appalachia Center.
We found records from Duval County showing McFarland has a history of mental health issues and violence, including 2 previous stabbings. In 2005, he was charged with stabbing his brother, causing near life-threatening injuries. In 2008, he was accused of pulling a 9-inch knife on a Jacksonville city bus. And in 2014, he was charged for stabbing someone in a Walmart checkout line. In all of these cases, McFarland was found not guilty by reason of insanity or deemed mentally unstable.
And we did reach out to the Appalachia Center for comment. They tell us they can't give specific details, but in a statement saying inpatient clients are not allowed to leave the facility on their own until they're discharged. And their protocol requires anyone who leaves without authorization to be reported to law enforcement as a missing person.
The Supreme Court ruling on the Mississippi abortion case that could overturn Roe v. Wade is expected any day now.
As activists face off in front of the court, advocates on both sides of the abortion issue working behind the scenes, preparing for a surge in demand for their services. Natalie Brand reports.
Or if they need anything in the interim, they can always call.
From clothing to care packages, from diapers to formula, this pregnancy center in Northern Virginia is a source of basic supplies, as well as counseling and connections to medical appointments.
We probably have 2,500 visits every year for material assistance.
The organization opposes abortion. Dolores Wisecarver serves on the board.
Out of the women that come in that are abortion minded, about 57% have a change of heart and continue the pregnancy.
And what do you think has changed their mind?
If they know that they have help and they know that they have support.
In Bloomington, Indiana, this pregnancy resource center also offers counseling and supplies for pregnant women and moms, but it has an abortion fund to help those who've decided to end their pregnancies.
One thing that hasn't been talked about a lot is how difficult it has already been in some states for people to access abortion care.
Jess Marchbank, the state programs director, says since the leaked court draft opinion, calls have more than doubled.
I have consistently been receiving over 80 every week since the beginning of May.
Sabina Oster has lived both sides of this issue.
No person can understand what an individual person goes through when they make their own decisions, especially one as hard as that.
She had an abortion in her 20s. Nearly a decade later, she made a different decision and is a new mom.
I couldn't do it again. I'm still pro-choice to this day, just due to the fact that I'm able to make a conscious decision on my own. I have support. Not everybody is as fortunate as me to have that support system.
She got support from family and financial assistance from a pregnancy center.
There's a tendency to vilify the other side, and that's not it. I mean, we're here about helping each other and getting through this.
While the advocates across the two sides hope for different outcomes from the Supreme Court,
it's impossible to harden your heart to some of the situations that you hear. And it's also impossible to help every single person, which can be heartbreaking.
they remain focused on helping as many women as their resources will allow.
The Pregnancy Center in Northern Virginia says it has relationships with local doctors' offices and will help pay for prenatal care and appointments.
5:04 now. The man accused of trying to murder Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh pleaded not guilty Wednesday during an arraignment hearing. Authorities say 26-year-old Nicholas John Roski showed up at Kavanaugh's house in Maryland with a gun earlier this month and later told police he had suicidal thoughts and that he planned to kill, quote, a specific United States Supreme Court justice. He also allegedly said he was upset about the leak of the Supreme Court opinion related to abortion rights, an upcoming gun control case, and the school shooting in Uvalde. Roski has been charged with attempting or threatening to kidnap or murder a U.S. judge, and if he's convicted, the maximum sentence would be life in prison. In Texas, the Uvalde School District Police Chief has been placed on administrative leave. Chief Pete Arradondo was in charge of the law enforcement response on May 24th when a mass shooter killed 19 school children and 2 teachers. Investigations generating bombshell allegations. Officers were on the scene just 3 minutes after the shooter entered the school, but remained in the hallway outside the classroom for more than an hour.
In Florida, the sentencing trial for the Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz is set to start July 6th. Now, the jury is still being seated. Once selected, jurors will reportedly hear from nearly 2,000 witnesses. They will then decide whether to recommend the death penalty or send Cruz to prison for life. Cruz pleaded guilty to the 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where 17 people were shot and killed. Yesterday, a Florida judge heard legal arguments in 2 cases involving the murder of Gabby Petito. Petito's parents accused the parents of her confessed killer of acting with malice for withholding information on the case. According to the FBI, Brian Laundrie confessed to Petito's death in a notebook found near his remains after his suicide. The judge plans to submit a written ruling within 2 weeks.
The latest idea for lowering fuel costs is a federal gas tax holiday, but most analysts say it wouldn't save you much money, and some economists worry it can make inflation worse. Amy Kiley looks at why and at some other gas news that might give you hope.
Why are we still paying so much for gas? I mean, it's an everyday necessity.
Lawmakers are under pressure to lower fuel prices. The president wants a reluctant Congress to pass a 3-month federal gas tax holiday. The problem is any significant price drop at the pump would depend on
if we could get states to join and if oil companies and refineries to pass on those cost savings to consumers.
So those businesses wouldn't have to pay the 18 cents a gallon, but
we have now evidence to think that the oil companies would pass that on to the consumer.
I want to get more data.
Some states have tried suspending their gas taxes, with consumers seeing some benefit. For other states, it's not so easy.
Our tax is constitutionally tied to infrastructure investments.
Then come the matters of supply and demand.
We have a supply problem that needs to be dealt with if you want to get prices down.
Global circumstances are restricting supply. Lower gas prices could increase demand. Some economists worry that combination could result in more inflation and higher interest rates. Already, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell signaling another interest hike and testifying before a House committee today. The good news is gas prices have dropped a few cents a gallon since last week.
I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic.
Now let's take a look at the local gas prices according to AAA. The latest gas price in Tallahassee is $4.73. In Valdosta, it's $4.33. And the latest gas price in Thomasville is $4.29. All right, and now we're going to send things over to Rob Nucatola for a look at our forecast. And do we have to get used to triple digits after yesterday into today?
I think we're going to have at least one more day of it, maybe two. And I think today we're talking even hotter than yesterday. So we likely will be up in record territory this afternoon. So lots of hot coming our way. We had so many hours up over 95 degrees yesterday, 8 hours up over 95 degrees. And I think we're going to have that again today with the same kind of setup with the hazy sunshine and the relatively drier air. Now we may notice just a little bit more humidity today. Of course, that's only going to make it more uncomfortable outside, and that's why we've got heat advisories in effect for today for it to feel like it's up closer to 110. Right now, what I see out there is a whole lot of nothing, the same nothing that we had this time yesterday, and we're likely going to have all that nothing again this afternoon. The hazy sunshine, limited, almost zero showers. Nothing to help cool things down. We're at 76 in Bainbridge. We're at 77 this morning in Tallahassee. Perry's checking in at 79. Now it's a little cooler in Quincy at 72, or Thomasville we're at 73. The forecast temperatures this afternoon, that's a lot of numbers in the 100s. I think we could be talking 103s, 104s out there in some of the warmer spots when you get north of Highway 98. South of Highway 98, better chances to keep it in the 90s. But even there, we're talking middle and upper 90s. So going to be hot everywhere. Futurecast searching for, trying to find a few scattered showers here and there, but I don't think today's the day. Now, I do think tomorrow, a little better chance as we slowly start to transition that wind more from the west today towards a little bit more southwest and even south. We bring in some of the humidity, so it's going to get a little sticky out there. But I do think we can start to generate a few afternoon scattered showers and even better chances as we head into the weekend. So I do see those rain chances going up after today, and that should cause the temperatures to come down. At this point, it looks like a real good shot to see some showers and storms on Saturday. We got some time to fine tune that. For today, lots of hot.